Mother India is the mother of us all. The Yoga Sutras, Karma Sutras, Shiva Sutras, Brahma Sutras and even Kama Sutra. Entire Indian culture is fundamentally rooted in the yogic culture. Women were not even supposed to think. If they thought for
True.
themselves, they were branded as witches. I'm talking about Mahabharata times when 5,000–6,000 years ago they talked about planet being round, not because of Galileo, well before that.
What is it that India has done for the world, and how do you see us? What role do you see us playing moving forward in the global spectrum of everything? How do we move forward? How has India helped the world move forward?
So what is India's contribution to the world? If that is a thing, there are 1,000 things to say, but because both of us are on right now in United States, let me count quote somebody because I'm not used to quoting anybody usually. I'm not good at those things. But let me quote Will Durant, an American writer who wrote about the story of human civilization or something like this. India was the motherland of our race, and Sanskrit, the mother of Europe's languages. India was the mother of our philosophy, of much of our mathematics, of the ideals embodied in Christianity, of self-governance and democracy. In many ways, Mother India is the mother of us all. I think he encapsulates almost everything that I would have liked to say, because it will go into thousands of things that have been contributed and which has been misrepresented around the world. I think I know there are a whole lot of people who will immediately pounce on me for this, but I think a more unprejudiced look at world's history is very needed. Then you will see a whole lot of threads will go back to India. When I say thread, we were the first ones to weave the thread also, the cotton and silk thread, all right?
Hmm.
And the sutras, the Yoga Sutras, Karma Sutras, Shiva Sutras, Brahma Sutras and even Kama Sutra, all right?
Yeah. We talk about be the revival. That is a big theme for this week. Are we in a revival? Is a revival of utmost importance? Are we at any point of time always in a revival, or is this a certain point of time where that is absolutely necessary or already a train that is in motion?
See, what do you try to revive? You try to revive that which is dead, right?
Hmm.
How do you revive the living, I'm asking? So instead of talking about revival, let me put it this way. See, the greatest contribution, in my opinion, Will Durant maybe did not cover this in some sense. In my way of looking at life, which is not intellectual, you can see I'm not intellectual. My way of looking at life, the most significant dimension that came from India is many thousands of years ago, Adiyogi said that if you are willing to strive, you can evolve into whatever possibility that is beyond the natural limitations of life. What you think are laws of nature which are controlling you can go beyond that if you strive. That is essentially he is saying, you're not some kind of an absolute or some kind of a making of God, that God made you perfect and you're there. He is talking about you can evolve, but it takes striving. Like we know today there's an evolutionary theory which is about 150 years old, that came from Charles Darwin. But
Hmm.
many thousand years ago, over 12–15,000 years ago, Adiyogi spoke about evolutionary process on the planet in a different context. And then he said, as a human being, you can evolve, but you can only evolve consciously. Because unconscious evolution of bringing you to this point of evolution is over. Now from here on, your evolution can only be conscious. But now, if you want to evolve consciously, one important thing, whatever you're calling as yoga, for example, because the entire Indian culture is fundamentally rooted in the yogic culture. When we say yogic culture, let us not think of just twisting and turning as it's happening in the world right now. When we say yoga, we are talking about union. When we say union, in your experience, your sense of your individual and the universal has merged. You have become one with the existence. From that context, everything has to happen. That is what it means. First you establish in yoga, then you act. This is the thing that is going on in India, Yogastha Kur Karmani, always people are talking about it. Without knowing, they think if you twist and turn, you're in yoga. No, that is just a physiological to prepare the body so that it's in some sense of comfort and well-being. But the important thing is you have a sense of union. As we already went through, your barriers are only of memory. What is yours, what is not yours, what is you, what is not you, all this is rooted in the accumulated memory that you have. So to transcend this is yoga, to transcend the limitations of what you think is me right now is yoga. Now we are trying to transcend this intellectually, but this whole yogic process essentially means you are absolute maker of your destiny. This is the only culture on the planet which gave you this idea that your life is your karma. That means your life is your doing. The karma, the word karma means act or action. So your life is entirely your making. So this is not… this is a godless culture, I want you to understand. People, Indians will have a little bit of a shock, but they need to go through this because they need to understand you have evolved in a culture which does not believe that you are an absolute stamped by somebody from up there. You are an evolving process. If you're willing to strive, you can go beyond all those so-called natural limitations upon yourself. Now, why is this important? This is important because Adi Yogi might have said it 15,000 years ago and might have given mechanisms and methods to evolve yourself beyond that, but the world was never really ready for it. Human beings were never really ready for it because they did not have the necessary intellect to understand, first of all, what he's talking. In the sense, today, 21st century, more people can think for themselves than ever before. Whether they're thinking right, wrong, that's a questionable thing, but more people are thinking for themselves than ever before. To put it in a very, in a realistic way, see, 100 years ago, women were not even supposed to think. If they thought for themselves, they were branded as witches, and you know what happened to them. So, straight away, with education spreading without gender discriminations, 50% of the human population has come into the thinking process of their own thinking. Once you start thinking, you naturally think logically. Once you think logically, anything that's illogical doesn't fit into your mind. Right now, we are in a cusp of a generation, we are struggling between these two, belief and seeking. Your intellect wants to know, it is seeking, but your memory is soaked in belief. So this is a generation which is right now struggling with this. So as quickly as… because it is essential that we evolve consciously, in this generation, we must raise questions about the fundamentals of everything that we have believed till now. Right now, when I say everything that we have believed, this is something I'm seeing, which was which is a kind of a retrograde in my experience. I was just watching, like you're in Los Angeles, probably if I say football, you will think of that thing which doesn't look like a ball, which they throw.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
our idea of a ball is round, so we call it football or soccer now. I was just looking at the history of this game. I saw when people like Pele was playing, George Best was playing, Cruyff was playing, whenever they struck a goal, they just jumped around, they shook hands with each other, or just leapt up or did a somersault, that was it. But now I'm seeing in recent times, whenever they score a goal, they will do, God, you scored the goal. I thought
Yeah.
only Maradona had that hand of God, but it looks like everybody has, because everybody is looking up and praising God. Even in India, when they score a century, they're saying, you scored the century.
Yeah.
Now this is a backward step, I'm saying,
Mm.
because This is important in this generation, we ask questions. Questions means like this, now you're pointing up. Is it true the planet is round? At least now you know. In India, we have always known the planet was round. You must
mm,
understand, geography is referred to as Bhugol. That means the studying of the globe. This is not now. I'm talking about Mahabharata times when 5,000–6,000 years ago they talked about planet being round, not because of Galileo, well before that. So if you look up on a round planet which is spinning, inevitably you're looking up in the wrong direction, I'm saying.
mhm.
So when you're talking about intellect, this is what intellect should do. It take out everything that's illogical within you. If everything illogical is taken out within you, that means all belief systems are taken out within you, you will naturally come to a state that you clearly understand what you know is so small and what you do not know is limitless. This is what makes you a seeker. You don't become a seeker because I say you become a seeker. You become a seeker because you clearly understand the limitations of your faculties, how far it can go. And when you see there is a wall that you cannot cross, then you understand you need to seek. And instruments of seeking are needed now. Now, till you see, let's say you're in a prison and the prison was very big and you thought you were free and you're walking all around. One day you hit the prison wall. Only when you hit the prison wall, just your two legs are no more enough, isn't it?
Mhm.
You need something else to burrow through this wall or climb across this wall or fly across this wall. You need a different methodology or a different faculty or a different process for this. This is what spiritual process means. Spiritual process is not looking up or looking down. The word spirituality has become one of the most corrupted words on the planet, but essentially spiritual means you hit the limitations of your physical and psychological structures, so now you're looking for something beyond. Now, something beyond does not mean you score a goal and say this. You're saying that because you think somebody up there is doing it, that means you're a goal scorer by chance. So if you live by chance, anxiety is normal. If you live
Mm,
accidentally, anxiety is normal, isn't it?
mm,
So right now, that is what everybody is saying. Anxiety is normal, you have to treat yourself, you have to do this. No, anxiety is not normal. Anxiety has come to you because you have assumed things that you do not know. You have used confidence as a bridge, not your clarity. If there was clarity, there would be no anxiety, because confidence is an empty shell. You're always anxious.